What's up, everybody? We are finally to the NFL playoffs, the moment we've waited for patiently for 18 weeks. We've had a really exciting finish to NFL Week 18 with that Steelers-Ravens shootout in the fourth quarter to determine that AFC North champion. Rounding out the playoff picture, let's jump into the games that we're seeing in NFL Wildcard Weekend. As always, don't forget to like the video if you're enjoying the content and subscribe to the channel to keep getting this stuff week in and week out. First game on the docket, we got the Bears hosting the divisional rival Packers. These two teams split the series this year 1-1, each home team winning the game. You get the Packers here as slight favorites on the road in the 7th seed in the playoffs, taking on the Bears at the 2 seed. If you watch both those games, while granted both those games were close, I think it's clear that the Packers should have won both those games. The Bears needed everything to go to their way that fourth quarter, including an onside kick in that second match that allowed them to thinly win that game in overtime. I don't think that you can kind of count on those types of plays, certainly not receiving an onside kick and successfully having one of those in these games. So in my mind, I think if the Packers beating the Bears twice in the matchups they played, I think it's because their defense as a huge differentiator between the Bears. Packers have a really solid secondary too, which you've seen how prolific Caleb Williams and the Bears passing attack can be outside of Week 18 against the Lions, but really looking at their game against the 49ers and even in past games against the Packers. But what's been constant for this Packers secondary is shutting down teams, and it's the offense that's been lagging. But the offense for the Packers shouldn't be too much of a concern with this Bears defense that has done very poorly at stymieing other opposing teams' offenses, especially in the passing game. I think Jordan Love and the wide array of weapons he has in the passing attack will be enough for the Packers to win this game against the Bears. I like this game 23-20 Packers and advance as the 7th seed here. Another NFC game we got on the agenda is the Eagles as the 3 seed taking on the aforementioned 49ers, losing to the Seahawks on Saturday Night Football, and then allowing the Rams to sneak into that 5 seed. You still get the Eagles here as the 3.5-point favorites, despite having a worse record in the regular season than the 49ers. But I think a big reason of that is kind of what I highlighted for the Bears. 49ers are very similar to the Bears in which they have a very prolific offense, even more prolific than the Bears, but their defense has been very porous, especially in the run game. If you look at that 49ers Seahawks game, which ended in a pretty low scoring affair in 13-3, the way the Seahawks won that game, by and large, was gashing the 49ers defense in the run game between Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker III, averaging over 5 yards a carry, well over 5 yards a carry, rushing for almost 200 yards combined between the two of those guys. I would expect Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and this Eagles offensive line to try to replicate that performance and really try to bully the 49ers by winning the line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the football and running the ball down their throats. This Eagles team doesn't do well when they have to throw the ball and rely on Jalen Hurts' arm. They should not, if they can replicate that run game success that most teams have had against the 49ers and lean on their really terrific defense that's been getting better and better all year to limit this passing attack from Brock Purdy and the 49ers. What I really like about this this Eagles pass defense is the linebacker coverage play led by Zach Baum, one of the best coverage linebacking units in football. I think that's going to be huge, not just shutting down or limiting George Kittle, who's a huge weapon for this 49ers offense, but also just limiting the throws in the middle of the field for the 49ers passing attack. Brock Purdy in this offense is one that is designed to throw the ball shorter plays in shorter air yards, meaning less, long of throws down the field and really towards the sideline. This 49ers offense is a well-oiled machine and operates best when Purdy is throwing the ball in between the hash marks in the middle of the field. I look for this Eagles linebacking unit to take away as much as they can in the middle of the field and force longer, more spread out throws towards the sideline where Brock Purdy struggles a little bit more. So because of those reasons, I like the Eagles to win this game. I think they're going to win this one 27-23 and advance one more round here in the playoffs as the defending Super Bowl champions. One final NFC game here, probably the most inconsequential one, would be the 5 seed Rams going into the 8-9 NFC South champion Carolina Panthers, who find themselves at home as a 10-point underdog to one of the Super Bowl favorite teams in the Rams. With, I think, right now the MVP favorite Matt Stafford at quarterback. With or without Davante Adams here for the Rams, I really like them to win this game. It's hard not to, not just because of their offense and how unstoppable Puka Nacua has been all season long, but really on the backs of their defense. One of the best all-around defensive units, has a great pass rush, has a great run-stopping unit, and formidable guys in the secondary as well. This Panthers team hasn't really been able to put up many points on the board these last few weeks. They haven't cracked 20 in a significant way in quite some time, and it's simply not going to be enough offensive output to compete against this Rams team that is, with Tyler Higbee back on offense at tight end and looking at like more of a complete offensive unit. Obviously, Kyren Williams, aforementioned Puka Nacua, and Davante Adams, really getting Higbee back to kind of round out the tight end, their offensive weapon unit, adds another wrinkle to Sean McVay's offense. Just complete on both sides of the football. You can't say the same about the Panthers, who have a losing record this year. I like to see the Rams win this game big. Rams win 31-20 here. Dipping into the AFC portion of this video in the wild card weekend, we got Patriots 3.5 points as the 2 seed hosting the Chargers. Really formidable 7 seed here. Another close game between the 2 and 7 seed. Where I really like the Chargers here is a little bit more experience and battle-tested nature of this team in the playoffs, especially from the quarterback Justin Herbert and this defense. No strangers at often personnel-wise on the field of what it takes to win playoffs games. But what you have seen in the past from these guys with experience is that they have struggled in the playoffs historically, especially Justin Herbert. Looking back no further than to last year in a total collapse against the Jaguars in the first round of the playoffs too. The Patriots is a really young, I would say, unproven team in the playoffs in terms of personnel and their main players, especially on offense. Really young offense there outside of a guy like Stephon Diggs holding the fort down in that wide receiver room. But you get guys like Mike Vrabel that are no strangers to the playoffs and are really great at making game plans to figure out ways to out-chess piece the other team. No doubt about it, in my mind, the Patriots are the more talented team from a roster perspective. Both these teams have great defenses, but I really like what the Patriots are able to do on their side of the football. Really what they didn't spend money in the offseason to get really big names in that front seven, leaning on guys like Christian Gonzalez at cornerback to round out their secondary and really lead the secondary. From offense, it's really going to come down to Drake May in his first ever playoff game, Trayvon Henderson, the rookie running back that's been great for them. What can they do against a really above average defense, and not great defense in the Chargers, where the screws are certainly tightened and the lights are a lot brighter in the playoffs? I really could see the Chargers winning this game, just given how great Justin Herbert's played this year. But I think my biggest knock on the Chargers is their offensive line play and the really poor pass and run blocking that they've had. The Chargers' offense is a lot more one-dimensional than the Patriots because Omarion Hampton doesn't get the running lanes that he's used to seeing even earlier on the season after a few Chargers offensive line injuries, and certainly Justin Herbert not getting the time that he needs to commit throws downfield. I talked just 2 weeks ago about the Chargers-Texans game. I think the Chargers are able to beat most teams, but if they can't block the other team and give Justin Herbert time, then I don't like them to win many games. That was the outcome against the Texans, letting up 5 or 6 sacks and losing that game. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same outcome here. I think it's going to be a really close one, and I give the Chargers a lot of respect as a team, being well-rounded and well-coached, but I'm going to take the Patriots here, who have a little bit more flexibility on offense and a little bit more ball dispersion between skilled position players. So, tight game, but I'm going to give it to the Patriots pass rush and their well-rounded offense here for them to win this one 23-21 in a close game. We've got the perennial playoff contender Buffalo Bills on the road here in the wild card. First time in a while for them, taking on the Jaguars, but still Bills find themselves as 1.5 point favorites on the road here. High total of 51.5, and I really think that the Jaguars are the better football team here, and the Bills are getting this 1.5 point favorites for the team that they used to be, the Josh Allen that was last year, as opposed to the product that we're seeing from the Bills this year on the field. Now they're certainly able to put up points with the best of them and beat the best of them. The Bills were able to overcome a 21-point deficit in Foxborough and beat the Patriots. So they've proven they still got it, but it's really, can they do it consistently? And that's the big question mark. Jaguars right now, at least offensively, are one of the hottest teams in football and have been doing it consistently. No question there with Trevor Lawrence putting together the best second half of a season that he's had in his own career, and Liam Cohen in his rookie head coaching season is really showing why he's touted as the offensive guru that he is. Um, again, just with the consistency and the way Trevor Lawrence has been playing, I like the Jaguars to win this game. If the Bills are going to have any chance to win this game, like it has been all year, it's going to be on the backs of Josh Allen and James Cook in the run game. They just don't have enough weapons in the passing game for them, again, to consistently win games and for me to warrant picking them, especially on the road against a really great Jaguars offense. I think you're going to see the points fly this game, and it's going to be a race to the top here in terms of who can score the most, not really whose defense can make some stops. But again, between Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers, who they got at the deadline, Parker Washington, Travis Etienne, who's both a threat in the run and pass game. I've just seen so much more consistency out of this Jaguars offense that I'm going to take them to upset the Bills here at home and win this game 33-28, Jacksonville at home in Duval County. Final game here after that thriller on Sunday night. You've got the Steelers finding themselves as 3-point underdogs at home, hosting the Texans, which is a team that nobody in football wants to play right now. They have the most fierce defensive unit in football, and they're riding the backs of that unit on a 9-game win streak into the playoffs here. Low total here at 39.5. It's because the defense, these two teams are their specialty, especially the pass rush from each of these units, and the offense a little bit sluggish on both sides. Not a true run game on either side, although for the Steelers, you are seeing some pickup in efficiency for guys like Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren having an above-average season. But Steelers will be getting DK Metcalf, who they've been missing these last 2 weeks. But I'm not sure against this defense unit and secondary led by Derek Stingley Jr. that it's going to matter all that much. You saw the Ravens play a hefty amount of man-to-man coverage, again, without DK Metcalf against the Steelers on Sunday night. I expect this unit to do the same, and whether it's Kamari Lassiter or Derek Stingley, I don't foresee either one of them having a problem playing man-to-man defense with a guy like DK Metcalf, given both those players' size and physicality. Again, I think it comes down to the defense here for the Texans getting the nod and the edge against the Steelers. If you're going to get Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter beating down the throat of your quarterback, you're going to hope that that quarterback is mobile. Not so much the case for the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers here. I think that pass rush and disruptiveness from the Texans, which they've been doing throughout this whole 9-game win streak, is going to put a lot of pressure on the Steelers offense, and one that I don't think they're going to be able to withstand that pressure test. So because of the defense, much like most of the games that the Texans have played in the second half of the season, that's why I think they're going to win against the Steelers offense that, barring a fourth quarter outburst from that offense when, it was the 11th hour against the Ravens, you saw very little production from a Steelers unit. I expect to see the same against a much tougher defensive unit from the Texans versus Baltimore's defense they put out there. I like the Texans to win this game 20-16 and advance as their wild card road dog to win this game. So those are the 6 games we got for the wild card weekend. Cannot wait to see the outcomes of these games and get into the divisional round of the playoffs and get one step closer to the Super Bowl. Hope to see you guys every step along the way. Take care until then.